All right, everyone, welcome to the lunch break here at Fish North, Georgia, Tuesday, the 22nd of July. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are not working too hard, staying out of the heat. And I hope you are, well, let's just say, I hope you're not working hard. I hope you're not working hard at all. That's about the way I look at everything right now. I'm getting to where I absolutely love doing these things in the middle of the day, getting you guys to just kind of join us and just talking a little bit. Hopefully, we can make your day a little bit better. And we'll give it time for some guys to kick on over there. Hey, one of these days, I feel like I'm gonna pull it up and nobody's gonna be watching. I'm gonna talk to myself, but we all know that I can do that. But again, thanks for watching tonight, guys. We got a fantastic live well at 8 p.m. Tony, Tim, and the gang are gonna be up here, and we're gonna talk about the ICAST, what happened during ICAST, what happened after ICAST. Those after parties, guys. There's a lot of good stuff going on right there. We're gonna talk about Silverpunk Jeremiah. What's up, everybody? Um, Things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Bassmaster Elite schedule a little bit, get your guys' thoughts on that. We're going to talk about narcissism. What's up, Kevin MC? There's a reason why we're going to talk about that. And we might even get into, if we have time, things you like to fish for other than bass. I know we talk about bass here, like anybody. So you guys on TikTok, appreciate you joining us. Did you see the Nino Hendricks? Did you see the theft at least at ICAST? Ridiculous. I don't understand exactly what you're saying. THEF. I'm not sure what that means, but maybe I'm reading it wrong. Kind of elaborate a little bit on that for me, Nino, out there, because I saw a lot at ICAST. I saw a lot at ICAST. But anyway, as we do each and every episode, we do this. We're going to give you. Did you see? Let's see. No, still he hasn't fixed it yet. You have to go with me next time I catch another big rooster fish so we can get you one. I just want to see your face when that thing takes off. Me too. Me too. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to see it. Now, two things we're going to do before we get started. As I've been doing every day, I'm going to, somebody stole a swim bait at ICAST. Oh, yes. I saw a video on that, I saw somebody did that. I wasn't aware that that was at ICAST, though. But yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. There's one of those in everything. Um, we're going to give you the day in something happened today in history because I think you guys need to learn. And we're going to start something new today. We're going to give you the Gen Z slang word of the day. And the reason I'm going to do that is because we're old farts. And every time I talk to somebody young, they're saying things that I just don't understand. And so I think it would behoove us as older adults to learn what the young people are saying. So we're going to do that. But let's start off with this day in history. All right. Useless information, but you need to know it. 1933, guys. 1933. On July 22nd, the world's first solo around the world flight ended today. Wiley Post. I don't know if it's Willie or Wiley, but we're going to go with Wiley because I think that sounds better. He landed at Floyd Bennett Field in New York City, which I guarantee you doesn't exist today. Here's what's crazy about this, guys. Think about what we do now in flying. It took him 7 days, 18 hours, and 49 minutes to fly around the world solo back in 1933. Pontoon Jody, let's see, you need a dinner bell to ring to start the show off. I have to come to bring the bite in. I'll start doing that. Cam says he loves shark fishing. You guys out there on TikTok, we're bass guys. But is there something you like to do other than bass fishing? We'll get into that too. What's up, Eddie Hudson? But Cam loves shark fishing. Also pier fishing for Spanish mackerel, bluefish. Got another trip planned on August 15th. You and Jeremiah Giles need to go. Reds, I see red too. Reds. I've caught some reds. Fly fishing the Sequoia River. Atlanta Safe House. You're a fly fisherman? Now, I like doing it too. Mark Johnson on TikTok says tarpon fishing. Hell, we'll just jump right into this. I like this is where the comments work. I personally, I'm a bass guy. I like to fly fish every once in a while. Every once in a while. It's a nice change of pace. I would rather give me a tube of crickets, a Zebco 33, and a pencil float and go catch some big old bluegills and shell crackers than I would anything. That's just me. That's just me. Now, I do like to fly fish. It is fun. It is not something that I am going to give up my bass stuff Fly fishing can never get into that. You know, I'm telling you what, it's fun though. It's fun when they're biting. And I'll be honest, at my age, it's a great change of pace when you get out there. Uh, hold on a second, Atlanta Safe House. I appreciate you being a sponsor of the live well, but you didn't give me that information. We own the first 800 yards of the Sequoia in Habersham. You and I are going to start hanging out. Now, the Sequoia, I know. I know what's in the Sequoia. What's up, Doc Holiday? Your mic sounds a little funny, or it might be my earbuds. I hope it's your earbuds. I hope it's your earbuds. Bass are pretty much just what I do in the meantime between catching other stuff anyway. Saltwater fishing, peacock bass, and stripers and freshwater keep me occupied. What's up, Nathan Owens? Okay, yeah, listen, and we can keep that. You guys keep going. You know, what do you like to fish for outside of bass? Or maybe you just don't like bass fishing. Ditch Pickled Dad. Hey, I love that. That's a great name right there. I just rather use an ultralight spinning rod with a rooster tail for trout. Now, Spro is going to be sending us some stuff to try out. They're bringing over a new company under their arsenal of companies, and a lot of it is spinners, um, little spoons. We're going to be testing those and doing some video work for them. So I can't wait for them to get there. That's what they told me down at ICAST. James Ramsey, I've been to some watersheds where you can use small crankbaits and stuff like that, and the bluegill will eat them. You can fish for, yeah, that's fun stuff. Love trout fishing out west, heading to Alaska in 2 weeks, Coleman. Says crappie fishing too, right there. Bust them outdoors. Normally I'm saltwater, but been addicted to bass this year. There you go, dog. That's the way it works. I like it right there. KP, live from the Bass Cat dealer meeting. So, Kenneth, are you telling me I can't talk about certain things since you're in front of all the Bass Cat guys? Because you know me, I'll do it just to do it. Fred Ashcraft likes flounder. Alex Purrs, what's happening, Captain? Can't wait for you to get here tonight. Bass fishing been tough in Texas. And we're going to talk about that too with the Bassmaster Elite. Hell, they ain't going to Texas. Got my first bait caster and I'm hooked. Listen, my first bait caster was a piece of crap Ryobi that I bought at Kmart. Danny, hope you guys had a great time in Florida. Yes, we did. And tonight on the live well, we're going to talk about those great times. Eat Squawk. That's how y'all get these names. I love that. Love me some trout fishing. Crappie fishing is my job, though. Man, I tell you what, crappie make a mean taco. I got the Abu Garcia Pro Max combo. Good for you, buddy. Keep throwing it. Keep throwing it. I still have some Abu Garcia stuff that I fish with, and I can't destroy it. I have tried every way. Yeah, so Alex Purrs, no Texas, Florida on the schedule. I keep meaning to go back up to the Sequoia River for trout. Well, now I think we got to be nice to Atlanta Safe Houses. All right. They're a fine sponsor. Creative Crouton. I like fishing in Lake Lanier, 100%. Chris Garrison. Good morning, brother. I've been with y'all since the start, and I'm proud of y'all. Thank you, buddy. We've come a long way. I'm proud of where we're at, too. But you know what? We're only here because guys like you. And that means all the world. I'll miss the live tonight. I have a local government meeting to go to. Well, no, you don't. Nobody's making you do that. What state are you from? Georgia, God's country, North Georgia. All right, before we get any farther, now let's do, because since I got Ron on here and Ron's old, he's going to government meetings tonight. Ron, here is your Gen Z word of the day, because we need to understand what the kids today are saying. Like, I didn't realize catfishing was what it is, or gatekeeping. I'd like, hell, catfishing to me is chicken liver on a daggum zip code thrown out in the water. But we're going to do this every day from here on out, because I want you guys to be educated. The Gen Z word of the day is drip. D-R-I-P, drip. Now, an old fart like me, when somebody says drip, I immediately think of what I do to the faucet. When it's cold as hell around here, and we got to drip the faucet so the pipes don't freeze up. Okay? That's your Gen X version of what drip is. But it's changed. It has changed. This is what drip means to the young ones. What's up, Drippy? Cameraman Cletus. Here's what drip means. It refers to having a stylish or sophisticated appearance, often related to clothing and accessories. That's swagger, see? Or sauced up. Listen, I didn't know this. But if I wanted to use it as an example, I don't know that Tony Coleman is on here yet. He's probably actually having to work a little bit. But hey, listen, that's what the slang dictionary said the word of the day was. Mike does sound weird, but it's not bad. Not sure. It might be my voice. So if the mic is weird, I have to check it. I might have stepped on a plug or something. Anyway, I'm sorry for my Gen Z peeps. But here's an example for Tony. What's up, Rob Robleski? Rob, I need to talk to you too about your guide business. Are you available for me to call after the show today? Just let me know. An example of Tony Column. Guys, if you follow Tony on TikTok, you know that he has collabed with some fashion, some clothing accessories. So when Tony is modeling his shorts on TikTok, he be dripping. He be dripping. I listen to the podcast, but this is the first live I've got to see. Well, this is something new we started here. We still do the Tuesday and Thursday nights. And if you guys don't get to watch live and listen to us on iTunes or Spotify, hey, we appreciate you guys as well. But Tony be dripping. Rob Robleski, he is fashion. Something is off with the audio. Okay, all right, guys, nobody go nowhere. I'm gonna make sure I got it plugged in right. So hang tight 1 second. Let's see if this fixes it. How about now? Sounds good on TikTok. So it's a light. So see, but see, Josh, I got one guy saying it's a light buzz, not on YouTube. Right here from Smith Lake, Alabama, buddy. There you go. Anyway, so drip. I challenge you guys to use that in a sentence today. Go up to the oldest part you can find. Much better. Maybe I moved something back there in the control room. Maybe I had a mic cord pinched a little bit. So anyway, I got that fixed. Hopefully, good enough for government work. That's what I'll say right there. Actually, you wouldn't say he be okay. Jeremiah's going to correct me on this. Here we go. Who's minding the store? Roger Gibson. I am. I just got it closed while we do this, and then after the show, it opens back up. Actually, you wouldn't say he be dripping. You'd say he'd be drippy, or he got drip. We see the drip. Okay. Okay. Sounds like it might be echoing off the other mics. It might just be I'm loud, but whatever you did, it was better than it was. We'll look at it the night before the live will. So anyway, uh, Tony, he be drippy. He be drippy. All right. So look. Now, yesterday, let me ask you this. I thought we were talking about all the negative. Dang old boy be dripping. Listen, I learned something today. I'm 53. I can be taught. I can be taught. You know, yesterday I was talking about you said all those negative comments. When you were facing right at the mic, it's okay, but when you turn your head, it gets a little away sounding. Okay, I'll make sure I stay right here. What about the term Riz for charisma, Trey Crenshaw? Hell, listen, one word a day. Trey is off the handle. There's definitely drippy on Gunnersville. I got you. I love it. All right. So let me don't turn my head. Clear my throat. But yesterday I was telling you about all the YouTube videos. What does it mean, no cap? James, don't give me that crap. I do know that no cap means something like no BS, no bull, or something like that, because my daughter has said it. But all the negative videos about ICAST, and I challenged you guys yesterday to go look at them. How many of you actually went and found some? They were everywhere, everywhere. And now the same thing's going to happen with this Bassmaster Classic schedule or Bassmaster Elite schedule. So I want your guys' thoughts. I hate when they say bet. Is that beer or soda? Roger, what do you think? What do you think, Roger? What do you think? Anyway, here's the schedule. February 5th to the 8th, Gunnersville. February 12th through the 15th, Lake Martin, both of them in Alabama. 13th through the 15th, Tennessee River. I think that's the classic. No place for negativity here. Beer, yes, it's a nice cold beer. That's what you can do when you own the shop. What's a small backstory on your channel? What do you do? Let me give this real quick because since somebody on TikTok asked it. Started off as a small podcast. Opened up a small tackle shop. Podcast started growing. Got the opportunity to do a TV show called The Real American Road Trip, which airs right now currently on Waypoint TV. Got 2 seasons on it. We do social media, brand ambassadorship. We do these podcasts, and we still have the tackle shop. and we fish a little bit too. So that's it. That's what we do here. Um, what's your sentence? Danny was dripped up at ICAST, rizzing up all the buddies. Okay, okay, I learned that. I'm gonna say that tonight. We're gonna use drip tonight. That's gonna be the word of the night. Anyway, back to the schedule. 26th through 29th, Tennessee. Is it? I don't even know how to pronounce this damn thing. I didn't. I wrote it too small. Tennessee Tombigbee Waterway or whatever the hell that is. April 16th through 19th, Arkansas River. May 7th through the 10th, Lake Murray. May 14th through the 17th, Sandy Cooper Lakes. I'm gonna murder this one. June 11th through the 14th, Pascatank River, Albemarle, whatever sound. August 13th, Lake Champlain, August 27th, St. Lawrence River. Now, is the Classic not back at Knoxville? Yes, it is. Somebody had, I can't scroll down on the comments. Somebody said something about brands. Can you retype that on TikTok? Tom Bigby. Tom Bigby is how you're supposed to say it. Best thing I saw at ICAST is Bill Dance saying, "What's up, bro?" to Steve Harvey. That was pretty cool. What was the most interesting person you talked to at ICAST? That German that I talked about yesterday that talked about throwing midgets against the wall. That honestly was the most interesting person I talked to. I mean, I talked to Drew Cook. I talked to pros. We talked to all them. Albu Marl. I can't predict. Man, Cletus, I can't say anything. But I would say honestly, I talked to. Okay, how did you connect with brands? Just some of your best advice. Walton and myself have been at the Classic all weekend. We're gonna go up there too. Logan, the best way with brands, first of all, I'm still learning all that. To be honest, I don't want to lie and say the digital sportsman cutout was pretty cool. Yeah, it was weird. I would say this. First of all, whatever you do, you got to prove yourself to be somebody that can connect with whoever you're trying to connect with. Um, Tons of people are trying to get. There's only what's up, Kurt? There's only so much of the pie. Okay, and everybody's trying to get a piece of that pie. So what you have to do, and there's 15 million. We'll have to hook up and find some old fashions. Dino, if there's an old fashioned around, all the guys that hang out with me know I'm gonna find it. That's my drink of choice. Danny, do you sell trolling motors or strictly bass rods and reels, etc.? I can order trolling motors and Elcos and whatever. Um, but my suggestion to you is, first of all, whatever niche you're in, what you're doing, make some connections with people because you got to. A brand wants to know how you can help them, and when you approach a brand, don't approach a brand saying, "Hey, I'd like you to help me grow." Approach a brand saying, "How can I help you grow?" And make the brand more important. Josh gave me this book, and it's somewhere around here. I gave it to Tony, and it kind of blew our mind as to what we were doing. We were making a mistake. It's not what the brand can do for you. Yeah, it might be in your mind, but what you got to do is you got to approach the brand. You got to approach the brand and make them the primary focus of everything. What can I do to make your brand grow? And then by default, you help yourself. Danny, you need to get that cut out of you and put it in the back corner of the shop and tell people that this is the guy that ties the jigs. Go talk to him. And always over deliver, Jordan G. Absolutely. Now, I'll say this. And Logan, if you want to email me, I don't know if you got it, or you can text me 678-283-6700. Any of you guys got questions like that, I'll always be willing to help you guys out. 678-283-6700. Now, here's the crazy thing, though, Ron. They're going to take that cardboard cut out of me, and the plan is to put it in tackle shops across the country. You're going to see my ugly fat mug all across the country. Y'all going to be pulling that somewhere in Arkansas, and you're going to go in there, and there's going to be Danny right there. I don't know what just happened. I just got kicked. Let's see, my live well details. Live access removed again. I just got kicked off for some reason on TikTok again. You received a warning for your first violation. The next violation will result in a strike. Tap to find out how this affects your account. What the hell am I doing? What am I doing? I don't understand. So Josh, maybe figure out what we did on. Josh was probably watching. So anyway, back to YouTube. So you guys, the legend is back in its seat. Danny, I know you were excited about that new clap tail they showed at ICAST. That's some gimmicky shit. You know what that reminds me of? Now, it's not. You guys know I don't like a whopper plopper. But okay, Atlanta Outdoors. What word did I use right there? What did I trigger? TikTok is mad because you are day drinking and they are jealous. That's probably what it is. If anyone has questions on how to get sponsors for fishing, I can guide you and have a platform that will work 100%. Well, damn, Rob, help me out. You need to help me out. But back to that. Back to that. I'm just guys like that. TikTok just floors me. I don't understand. Dipping or smoking on streams too. They can't tell. I got a Zen pouch in. TikTok is not redneck approved. I guess so. We'll figure it out. I got banned a couple weeks ago because I said I was going to show my boobs. I get that. Y'all send me some galaxies and I'll show you my boobs. But I mean, I thought surely Chan somewhere over in China watching it would understand that I'm not actually going to show my boobs. Now, here's the thing though. Back to that, I don't like a Chapo or Whopper Plopper anyway. And so to me, it seems kind of gimmicky. I mean, doesn't a Chapo in and of itself make enough noise? Um, but teach his own right there. I don't. I think it's the slobber knocker of 2025. Um, Cletus said I went live with my shirt off on TikTok when I went fishing last weekend, and they let it roll. That's false advertisement. Fish around and find out. Well, I don't know. Alex says I found a video on YouTube from Bass Fishing headquarters about getting paying sponsors. Followed it and it worked. I get paid every year to fish and represent a small handful of businesses. There are ways to do it, and that's not what I plan on talking about today. But you know how this show goes. We'll just go with it. The biggest thing is, and I was fixing to put on another cowboy hat on you, Jordan Grizzle. Well, thank you, Jordan. But I'm glad you found it over here. I don't understand it, but I'm a retailer. I'm a retailer. So I've had many people come in here and ask for sponsorships. Now I'm not a big retailer, so I can't write out $1,000 checks. Don't have it. But I do look at certain people as they come in, and I'm thinking, all right, can this person help me grow? I'm surrounded myself with guys that are like that. I think you surround yourself with guys that will are willing, and then I have to be willing at the same time. Just take the podcast right here, Alex, and then Tony tonight, Cletus, Tim, everybody but Kevin. Everybody but Kevin has a social media, and they will tell you to a person that I'm like, hey, you go find yours. Let's grow. Let's help you grow. Use our platform. You're helping us. So let's use Fish North Georgia to help you grow. Okay. You gotta help. You gotta help each other grow. So you gotta do one do that. But you gotta go to a company. I mean, look, guys. I got a stack of business cards right here from MyCast. That these are companies, some of which I'm going to approach about the podcast here. Some of which I'm going to approach about our TV show. And it's a different world. I can tell you, with each step up the ladder, it's a different world. Okay, you might want to get a couple $100 a month from a sponsor. That's a small company, all that. Do a TV show and try to raise a little over $1 million. They ain't writing them checks easy. So you got to work, hustle, and figure out what to do. But the biggest advice I can give anybody is make the company feel more important. You make them the focus of what you're doing. I've had guys that I've given money to that didn't do jack crap. I've had guys like Rob. We give him a ton to help them out. Rob does us right. I've had guys that come up and I just give them baits. They do us right. And that's why I always say the kayak guys are the best. If I had money to write and I'm going to write a check, which I don't, so don't be coming at me, you kayak guys. But if I did, I'd give it to a kayak guy first. Kayak guys are active on social media. They push the products. And not every one of them, but the one you find the right ones. So that's the big thing. And here's the thing: it's like a lot of those videos about ICAST. Boo, farmer said boo. I know that's towards the kayak guys, but a lot of the social media content people were complaining about down at ICAST. A lot of it is guys going down there and they're trying to work them up a deal, and and I don't blame them. That's the time to do it. But John Algren is coming up here this afternoon. Break out the checkbook. All right, John. We'll see what we can do. It's going to be a very small check. What's up, Tony? But anyway, those are the things that are important to me as a retailer. How are you going to push me? So social media is the only thing that offers some of these places like Marco Tools or Socks Barbecue. Absolutely. I just got a new kayak. I need FNGO to sponsor it so I can rig it up. Silver Punk. Hell, I got a brand new one and it's bare bones. I ain't got anything on it. Let me get mine done first and then we'll talk. When I conquer the world and end up being the Joe Rogan of the outdoor world, I'm gonna write those checks. I'm gonna write them to Tim and Tony and Alex and those guys first, and then is ICAST open to the public? No, Nathan, it's not. And that was another big thing. Everybody thinks it should be open to the public, but at the end of the day, ICAST is a trade show. And the reason, at first, I used to think the public should be allowed to go because I thought it would make it bigger. But now, after thinking about it, it doesn't need to be open to the public. And here's why: it's a trade show. Now, I am a retailer. And let's say I'm going up to Spro. We'll use Spro as an example. And I can set up an account where I can buy directly from Spro. Well, Spro is going to sit there and give me the wholesale prices, okay, what I can buy it for. And then as a retailer, I'm going to put my 20, 30 points on top of it, percent or whatever, my margin, and that's what I'm going to sell it for the store. Farmer, when you yum a little more successfully, I'll pay you, buddy. But that's how it works. So I don't need Billy Bob standing right beside me, and he sees that Spro bait retails $11.99, but I can buy it at $7.99. Now he's going to be sitting there. It's going to be awkward. You kind of get what I'm saying. It's like, and you can't have those one-on-one conversations if you got a lot of people around you. Think about the classic and how crowded the classic is with people going out there and they got deals. Those companies are selling to the public. They don't sell anything. I felt the same way, but you got okay. So, but Nathan, that's what I'm saying. So, you have the classic. You got Red Crest. You got the East Tennessee Fishing Show, and Lord knows 100 other shows across the country. But it would be difficult to have those conversations business to business if you had 100,000 people walking around. You can't have those conversations. If you're a guy going down there looking for sponsorship, very hard to have those conversations. And so that's the big difference. Is ICAST is a trade show. We're going to talk about ICAST a lot tonight on the live well. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a trade show. Business to business. It is making connections. It is all of that. If you introduce the public, you lose that. So that's it. But I get what people are saying. But all this stuff about ICAST dying and everything that you're going to hear out there on social media, the guys that are saying that, number one, and I argued with a guy on YouTube in the comment section of another guy's thing. Didn't really argue, but he couldn't grasp the fact. He could not grasp the fact that the public was not allowed in, even to go so far as to say companies like Tackle Warehouse that if they allowed how was he saying that? He was saying that he could judge whether a company loved him as a consumer based upon whether they would allow them an event like that. I can imagine the price would make a lot of people mad. But not really though, Nathan. There's not a lot of margin in tackle. There's not, I love it when guys come in and go, "Oh, Rick's got a tackle shop." I'm like, my ass is broke. I'll give you for example, and this is not exactly. Having friends that work for Pittman Creek Wholesale and know the cost of a lot of things, the public would go crazy over if they knew the markup value. Also depends, Jeremy, because I buy from Pittman. It depends on the product. And what you also have to understand is just because I buy from Pittman, I can't just put it whatever I want. Some of these companies have MAP pricing, and you have to, especially in electronics, pull up an electronic ad now for whatever live, this year's live or whatever. And let's say it's $24.99 at Bass Pro. It's going to be $24.99 at the next store, $24.99 at the next store. Because when you put it online, when you sell it online, or when you advertise it, if any of that print goes out online, you have to match that price. Now, once somebody comes in your store, you sell it for whatever. But take Zoom worms, okay? There's not much more than $1 per pack profit on a Zoom worm. It's the way it is. And big companies like Tackle Warehouse kind of set the price, even if the manufacturer doesn't. There are some things being a small. What about hard swim baits like the KGB? I would say that on average, and I'm kind of giving you guys, if you guys can think 20 to 30%, it depends, Nathan. It depends. It's really tough. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I see it and understand it. I know what you're saying, Jeremy. I know what you're saying, but I'm pretty open with the guys when they come in the shop here. I'll say that. I'll say, hey, you know what? I use it as here's how I describe it. Because we're a media company that owns a tackle shop. What's easier for me to do? Have somebody pay me $300 to get on here and say, hey guys, you need to go check out so and so at so and so at so and so. They got a great sale going on. I appreciate them being a sponsor, and I shout them out. Or I can sell 200 packs of Zoom worms to make the same profit. That's what people think because you got all these baits on the wall that it's just money rolling over. And it ain't. Trust me, it ain't. Some products, and I'm not gonna give you all of them. Some products have higher margins. Some niches have higher margins. But basic bass tackle, there's not a lot of money in that. You got to sell volume, 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 volume. That's why you see a lot of mom and pop stores come in and go away, come in and go away. And I can tell you just right now, here in the last 3 years in Georgia, within an hour and a half drive from my shop, there's been one, two, three, at least three tackle shops open. Three tackle shops. That's why you got to be able to do something a little bit different. You got to set yourself apart. I'm not going to be Hammonds. I can't compete with Hammonds. Can't compete with them. They got the greatest selection to me in North Georgia. But what I offer that Hammonds doesn't offer is we offer podcasts, we offer social media services and stuff. So that's kind of how you have to differentiate yourself. But back to the ICAST thing, it's really honestly true. Um, yeah, you just can't have those conversations. So if you're going down to ICAST with that in mind, or I'll share, don't you dare go away, Danny. I'm not planning on going away, Roger. Unless, listen, I always say if y'all see me on a carton of milk or on the news, my wife killed me, probably dumped me in Dawson Forest somewhere. Just saying. But I don't plan on going away. I do plan on growing big enough to where I can hire somebody to work this store so that I go off and film a little bit more. Um, what did Alex say? Go to the grocery store and ask for a better deal after they ring you up and see how it works out. Yeah, price hagglers. I don't get a lot of price hagglers. I'll be honest with you. I think when guys come into a small tackle shop, that they're not about that. Now, maybe with your rods or something. Your shop has a lot to do with personal relationships you gain with your customers and friends. I always say that that's the core. So I don't ever want to get rid of the shop because I get to see you guys that come in. I know about your family, know about your life. We solve some of life's problems right there behind my desk. And it's a great thing. And I don't ever want to lose that. Never, never, never. But back to ICAST again. You can't make those relationships. Digital Sportsman, that's whose booth I worked in. Their goal was to get people interested in their platform from guides, retailers, lodges. These are people that are down there actually talking to other people. So it was a very targeted audience that we were looking for. And, I think I had an email yesterday that you could scan somebody's badge, and I'll show you guys at home. For those of you that are watching, so this is your ICAST badge that you get. But on this side, everybody that was a retailer, so you might not be able to see it with the light, but there's a QR code. And so I know that Digital Sportsman scanned 190 QR codes over 3 days. 190 different people stopped by the Digital Sportsman booth to actually talk about what they provide. Of those 190, 102 are very targeted, have signed up, are very targeted that they can follow up on. That's what ICAST is for. Okay, very targeted audience, knowing who you're trying to get in touch with. That's what ICAST is for. We got all of these guys. Trophies or trees fishing. What happened to TikTok? I said something, got in trouble, man. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but I got in trouble. Somebody might have reported me. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But I didn't say boobs this time. You guys watch the live one of that, you'll hear a lot about boobs, though. Just a little hint going on. But a lot of these people are saying ICAST needs to do this, ICAST needs to do that, and it's going to be better. ICAST doesn't need to do anything. Just because Pure Fishing didn't show up this year, I'm going to tell you what, guys, it's the honest to God's truth. What I heard was Pure built them a facility and they decided they were going to do their own thing. Go for it. Kudos. But I can tell you, if I had walked in and didn't know that Pure wasn't there, you couldn't notice it. It wasn't noticeable. Now, some people were a little more strategic. There were some companies missing. I don't believe I saw the Real Tree people clothing line. They might have been there. Um, if I was going to say Florida, I'd make it a point to come to your shop. If I was going to say Florida and Bullshad just to show my support, even if they were out of the way, man, I appreciate that. I'm glad you found us here too, Trophies and Trees. They don't kick me off YouTube. You got banned for violent behavior and hate speech. I got banned. Okay, so Josh is watching. So Josh just chimed in. So apparently, did I say midget when referencing the German? Nope. Nope. I didn't even say nothing about that. I didn't even say little people. Throwing little people. Is that what it was? I'll be damned. Maybe I did say it. Well, Pure Fishing got roasted last year, so I guess it makes sense they didn't show up. I think that's why they didn't show up because everybody was jumping all over the butts for stealing that swim bait design or whatever it was. But if you didn't know that Pure was gone, if you didn't know, hey, it wasn't noticeable. I was trying to thank you for being here and doing this. You make my day so much better. Well, you make my day better. TikTok is woke and not worth the time. Yeah, but they pay. I did say, okay, Eat Squawk said I said midget. I didn't say little people. I don't know. I think you did. Well, guys, Josh is going to, it costs a lot of money to be at ICAST. Yeah, it does. It does, Fred Ashcraft. But every one of those companies, October, November, say of this year, they're setting their marketing budget. And part of their marketing budget will be thrown towards ICAST. It makes sense for some companies and it doesn't. It's just the way it is. But there are a lot of small companies that just do the 10 by 10 booth that still costs a lot of money, but they got to get their name out there. And everybody's like, well, you can use social media. Yes, you can. But they want their product in my store. They want their product in this store. And what better way to do that than when I or another retailer walk by, I look at something that interests me, and boom, now we got a conversation. I thought TikTok paid less than YouTube. Hell, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But check, like, here's an example. And I didn't get to walk around as much as Josh did. But these are Q8 super baits. Okay. Now I saw these for the first time yesterday when Josh brought them in, but Josh grabbed some, a sample of them. These are like trout eggs and stuff. And they're in this scent that disperses, and they got video that you can watch it disperse. They make all other sorts of baits. This is just their trout line. All right, Josh saw this. This is how iCast works. Josh saw this, knowing that we are up here in North Georgia, knowing that we get a lot of guys that fish for trout in here, and he's like, this would work in our store. I've never heard of Q8 baits before. Josh brings them in, shows them to me, and I'm like, dude, that's badass. And then we watch the video, and we watch, they got shrimp and stuff like that, and you can actually see the scent coming off of it. Okay, it's a little bit different. We talk about bait fuel all the time. But the bait is the scent. That's what Josh was telling me. But my point being is, never heard of this company before. Never saw anything on social media. I don't think Josh ever had. Josh saw the product, thought it looked good, got a sample, got a card, got a name. Q8 is going to be in our shop. That's iCast. That's how it works. And that's why companies will put money to do that. They'll invest that money. Maybe for a small company, I know there's some local guys that used to go. Didn't see them there this year. Didn't make no sense for them to go. But for Q8, it did. They got a customer out of it. And then here in North Georgia, people will start talking about Q8 as they use it. But that's the gig with iCast. That's why. Now, since we ain't gonna talk about the Bassmaster schedule, because apparently nobody's interested in it, and that's fine with me. We're gonna move on to the next thing, and we can come back to it if you guys want to. We talked a little bit about what other kind of ways you fish other than, of course, bass fishing, and you guys can keep in on that too. We did a little bit, but I want to talk about narcissism for a second. Now, there are guys out there on social media. There are guys up here on Lake Lanier, and to an extent, maybe all of us can be a little bit narcissistic. But there are guys. When I watched the video, of a certain individual. Okay, Fred Ashcraft says, "I'm glad to see Arkansas River back on the schedule." What surprised me was that there was no Florida, no Texas lakes. That was kind of surprising to me. Um, but as far if we're being honest, guys, how many of you guys yesterday, like, your day was affected by the Bassmaster Elite schedule? And I like them. This is not a knock against them. They put out their schedule, and I'm like, you play your schedule, whether it's good or bad. The Sabine River sucked, but it worked out for Brazil Brazalo Lures. Um, it is a change. So it is a change. I know a lot of people are fussing that they don't go out to California and all that, but my God, think of the added expense to the anglers if they got to do that. So I get why they do it. Not having Florida and Texas is Bass's way of trying to control scoping. Could be. No Hartwell either. Man, I was fired up. Got everything in the calendar to rock and roll. So I know where Cletus is coming. Yeah, that excites you. They need to come back to Clarks Hill. This is the third year going to Murray. But listen, Messick, Murray, that's a pretty damn fun tournament to watch, if I do say so myself. I enjoyed watching Trey McKinney and Patrick Walters go at it. The MLF is coming to Hartwell. But that is the thing, too, is Bassmaster isn't for me too much money in it. It ain't that for everybody. Your shop keeps getting better and better. Why do I have to be so far up 53 from Buford? Roger, I don't know, buddy. But hey, I'm getting ready to redo our online store. So think about that. Bassmaster isn't for everybody. I actually like the NPFL better for obvious reasons. I know more of the guys there. But it's not a bad it's not a bad schedule. You know, how you control you guys are okay. Are they definitely Sabine is a small deal, but always a big turnout and diversity. Yeah, it is. My only complaint is no St. John's River or Okeechobee, and I'm tired of Gunnersville. Yeah, but Gunnersville they're gonna put out. Good to see no Texas, no Florida. Grimy fisheries being Martin, Big B, and Arkansas River, and probably six Masters. So those are the ones you're going to grind on. That was my question. Which ones are going to be? The schedule also reflects on money. Who's willing to pay? And that's a big thing, Rob. That's true. I had the guy in the comment section, something on one of them said, "Why no Lanier?" Because I'm telling you, the places around Lake Lanier ain't paying the money to get them there. It is, and this is, and they'll tell you, the NPFL guys will tell you, MLF, I sort of said MILF, the MLF will tell you that you got to have the facilities, and they're bringing they're bringing their anglers in there. You got to be able to work with them on lodging, on getting money to host the event. There's a reason why everybody goes to Hartwell. There's a reason why Hartwell, whatever that one ramp is that all the major tournaments go out of, there's a reason. They're willing to write a check. They'll write a check. Trophies to trees. I enjoy the small local tournaments more. I feel more passion and less money. I can't argue with you on that. I can't. We haven't had a Bassmaster on Gunnersville since 2023. And Forsyth County doesn't care about bass fishing. They don't. They don't. Cam, right? Let's see, right? Yeah, Cam's talking to Roger right there. Green Pond Landing. That's the one I was trying to think of, Fred. Um, I'll have to start watching again. I've had a hard time watching a fishing tournament the last couple of years. Probably because you ain't fished as much. That probably has a lot to do with not your personal life, like you got problems, but you know what I'm saying. Um, I only wish I could get that. Well, Roger, I wish you could get here more often too, my man. We can break bread here when we come by. Next time. But the schedule's not bad. I don't know why people are bashing it. I really don't know why. I mean, look, it's the best of the best going on wherever they go, let them fish. And so it is kind of curious to see which ones, if they do the 50-50, have they decided that 100% yet? It will be interesting to see which ones they allow it on. Now, I would say your last two, Champlain and St. Lawrence River, those would be. Those would be. You can't make everyone happy, Tony. Especially, hey, Tony, you be dripping today. I know you don't know what the hell that means, but you drip. You got your drip going on. And I'll tell you what that means tonight. Dennisville doesn't need Bassmaster money. They get enough money from everyone coming on vacation. I haven't seen anyone bash it yet. Yeah, I've seen a few, Cletus. I've seen a few. Mostly the Texas and Florida. Tony got that drip. I've seen a few. But it's an interesting schedule. Now, When will the NPFL come out with theirs? How do they all do it? It'll be interesting. Put a bunch of hammer lakes and complaints. Put on some grinders and complaints. You can't win. You can't win. Um, and Danny, whatever you just did made your mic clear. I don't know what's up with the mics. What to figure it out. What to check all our plugins. Um, but it's a good schedule. You guys are going to keep up with it, or you're not going to keep up with it. If you like, Facebook is nothing but bashing in the comments. That might have been why I seen it, Jeremy. What's up, Mike Geiger? That might be where I saw it. I saw a bunch of people complaining, and I'm like, you know, here's the schedule. I see it. Oh, I know what drip is, but I don't know how I had it. I was telling everybody, I was using you as an example because it was the word, it was the Gen Z word of the day. And I said, when Tony models his shirts and his shorts on TikTok, he be dripping. The real question is what Randy B says. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. But we'll see. But when I saw it, you know what? My life was not affected one bit. Now, Cletus, yours is a little bit different because you're gonna go cover it. I hate that after a long night at the club, not realizing you had drip until you do laundry. What lake do y'all think the most weight will come off of? Ooh, Gunnersville will be a tough one. Gunnersville will be a tough one. That's going to be a sack. I mean, look what they just did on the St. Lawrence, the NPFL. That'd be a sack. Murray could be a sack. Gunnersville has got to be the one that, and that's a good one to start off with. Gunnersville will be 30 plus pounds a day. Yeah, what's drip, farmer? Who wants to know what's drip? You should have watched the beginning. But anyway, I mean that's it. You guys can keep talking about that. My buddy had 34 pounds and got 14th there last year, the same weekend. Bass has to do something different with us live. It's been the same from the start. It's 30 to 45 minutes of talking, commentating, and 20 minutes of fishing. If I'm being honest, that's the one reason I don't listen to a lot of professional fishing. Even Duncan and Fat Cat. I'm not saying they do a bad job at all. I'd rather see the guys fish, listen to the guys talk through their mics than I would. I don't think the NPFL does it near as bad as, and then, I'm not saying they do a bad job at all, but the bass crew, it's a little much. It's just for my taste, it's a little much. Gunnersville and Santee, my kayak friends over there have been hammering giants on the Sandy Cooper. Could be, but I think everybody can agree that Gunnersville is going to throw out an absolute tank of a tournament. Unless something changes, all I've heard about for the last 5 months is weight of the tournament on Gunnersville. Dave Aldridge is on the show every once in a while. He's got a house on Gunnersville, and even Ken Pruitt. They'll shoot me a text or something. I think we had a question of the night one night. It was how many 30-pound bags were weighed in on a tournament at Gunnersville, and if I'm not mistaken, it was like 20 something. That's crazy. I don't hate forward-facing sonar. Wish they would make it more interesting. Still early in the year, could be a major cold front come through and shut that down for Gunnersville. That is a possibility. That is a possibility, but that's also too fishing. You got that. When we went out to Gunnersville, a hurricane had just gone up west, a smaller one, up through the Mississippi River. Well, Gunnersville and all that's on the east side, so they got the wind and everything, and they got the rain and all that. So it wasn't exactly pristine conditions, but Dave and them still caught fish. Farmer caught fish. Tim caught fish. I caught a couple. Damn grass, though. You have to get a bass website, and that's a headache in itself. NPFL being on YouTube makes it 100 times better. I agree. And the NPFL has always understood that was one of the challenges that they had was to get it out there. And they have been working on it, trying to do a little bit better each and every year. I've met him before, but saw Brad Fuller down there at ICAST at one of the after parties, walked up, talked to him for a second, told him I said, because Brad Fuller, if you know, wasn't happy with me at the beginning because I was absolutely, because I'm friends with Trent Palmer and the guys over at Sonar Pros. When they banned it, I wasn't happy. Made some comments on social media. Ended up talking it out, and we apologized. I apologized to him and all that. I'm glad we're still friends. I walked up to Brad and said, "Dude, y'all are killing it. You guys are killing it," and I'm happy for them. I'm legitimately happy for them. They're killing it. They took a big risk, and it is paying dividends. Um, let's see, y'all talking about. Let's see. Okay, it would be fun to put the best of the best on some unknown lake with no practice. I'd watch that tournament. See, you know what? It would be. It would be absolutely awesome. The problem is, what boat you gonna pick out? What motor you gonna run? You see what I'm saying? Everybody, that it would be a great tournament. But if you're gonna do that, make it across the board like that. I think then you're gonna get into who do we support, who do we don't. I'd watch it too though. Cam, y'all talking about forward facing? Have y'all seen the new AI fishing goggles that they're coming out with? Randy made a video on them. Of course he did. Of course he did. Didn't Bass just start their own channel or something? Yes, I was going to get to that. I think it's an app. I don't know. I know Bass is coming out with that, so you're going to get more live coverage from what I've read just on the very beginning of it and everything. But yes, Tony, I think you're correct, and we might talk about that tonight too. I won't watch Randy B. I'll never give that clown a view. I love seeing guys fish lakes with nothing but rocks. Show up to Gunnersville and that grass overwhelms them. Jeremy, Farmer is right there below you. He's right there below you in the comment section. He will tell you that, and Dave will tell you, and Tim will tell you that it overwhelmed me too. I would have sold my mom to whomever for a rocky point. I ain't never seen so much grass in my life. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. Now, if I was there fishing it all the time, it would be different. But that we only had 2 days to film, so it was awful. But anyway, let's okay. We can keep talking. I've watched a lot more NPFL, Paul B. Yeah, me too, dude. Me too, 100%. Now, before I get this other thing we were talking about, how about this though? As the Chaos Bass Tracker or whatever, the scoring tracker, has that kept you from watching as much? Because I'm going to be honest, if I'm here at the shop, I find it much easier to pull up their website and say, Rob, Robleski, any of the guys I know, it's a lot easier to pull it up and say, okay, Rob's sitting 15 and go back to work and have my music playing. I am at work, so it's a little bit different, but I can check in on it. And it's great. It's great when people are actually reporting in where they're supposed to be. It's great. But has that kind of deterred some people like myself from watching it? Jeremy Conkrite, no fairy wands in that grass. I will tell you this, Jeremy. I did throw a fairy wand. I was throwing a chicken rig, and I caught bass. We have skin in the game in the NPFL. It's the only tournament I will watch. And Tony says, I hate bass track unless I'm just listening to it. Well, so here's the thing, though. As we grew here at Fish North Georgia, I'm meeting more and more and more guys that fish the elites. I still don't know, but like 4 guys that do MLF. They're down the line. I got to figure them out. But we're getting that too. So it's like I do find myself watching Bassmaster a little bit more too. I text, just to be honest with you guys, whether you like them or not, I talk to Trey McKinney after every tournament. And we're texting back and forth with each other. But I'm always like, dude, slammed him. Dude, that was, we talked, made a connection. He was on the show. So now I look to see where Trey's at. Drew Cook, he fishes both of them. And I like the crap out of Drew Cook. I'm always looking to see what Drew is. When Zona left Bass, I left with him. Interesting thing. We always talk about that in the church aspect. Think about this. If you go to church, go to a specific church just for the pastor, and that pastor leaves, were you ever really part of that church? And you leave with him. You see what I'm saying? If you go to church for a particular pastor, the pastor leaves, and you decide to leave too. Were you ever really part of the church? I kind of see that with Bass. When Zona left, a lot of people went out. Well, were you there for Zona or were you there for Bass? And it's different for everybody. And it can be totally different for you. I'm not a big Zona fan. Just not a big Zona. Not that he's not great. Don't get me wrong. Not that he's not great. I'm just not a big Zona fan. Did you see the new Rapala topwater at ICAST? Looked like a popper, mischief minnow, and buzzbait combined. Yep. We saw it. Did you see where they Rapala or Rapala, however you want to say it? They also brought back the original floating minnow. They kind of updated it a little bit. They kind of updated it some, but they made it to where you could cast it farther. Because I've always said that. Why did people not throw the original floating minnow from Rapala anymore, and it's because casting distance. It's so light. And now they've taken it, shined it up a little bit, but they've added it a little weight to it somehow, and you can actually cast it. So I'm curious to see if guys will go back to throwing that thing. Zona made the commentary funny. Tommy and Ronnie just isn't funny. That I agree with. No, Jeremy, you're right. I agree with that. Zona was the personality. Uh, I don't know Tommy. I don't know Ronnie. I don't know Zona personally. But if it's just Tommy and Ronnie, I'd rather sit through an insurance seminar. It's just not exciting to me. They're great guys. They've been doing it a long time. They are what they are. It's just not exciting to me. I like the Whopper Plopper with a Colorado blade on it. Alex, shut up. But it is interesting. It is interesting. Now, what I was going to get into about, I don't know, 35 minutes ago, I wanted you guys to think about some of your local anglers or some of your social media guys that you guys follow. Whether you follow them for the train wreck that they are, or you follow them for whatever other reason. And we're talking about narcissism because Lake Lanier is full of it. And I was telling you there's 5 types of narcissism. And I want you to think about the guys that you watch and see if, or even some of the anglers, and see if any of this applies to them. Because I just found it interesting. And I did it for a specific reason. I will tell you this. I've got a buddy that is a profiler, or let's just say government. He's a profiler. And I sent him 4 videos of a particular individual. And this guy does not fish. Doesn't hunt, doesn't fish. I think he plays freaking pickleball. So I feel like I got a very, very good analysis, not biased. So he watched all 4 videos, and the first thing he hit me back was with some questions. And he said, did this individual, you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. He said, did this individual used to be a pro? And I said, yes. Then he hit me back. Is he relevant in the pro game right now? And I said, no. And then he hit me back with a couple other questions. And because it'd give it away if I told you that. But basically, he came back and said, this guy is an overt narcissist, a communal narcissist, and an antagonistic narcissist, and probably suffers from a lot of self-doubt, all kinds of stuff. It was all kinds of stuff he was saying. So when he started saying overt antagonistic, I said, what the hell are you talking about, dude? And he said there's 5 types. You basically can classify a narcissist 5 ways, okay? And it's overt, covert, antagonistic, communal, and malignant. And so as I tell you guys what the definition of each one is, think about some of the anglers you follow, some of the social media guys you follow, and you're going to start saying like, damn, yeah. So he said he was an overt narcissist. Here's the definition. Arrogant with a grandiose sense of self-importance. I promise you there's some guys on Lanier that are like that. And the guys that I think are like that are the ones that make the post. A lot of you guys, I can't do that in the voice they give it away. A lot of you guys are asking where I've been lately. Remember we talked about that a couple weeks ago. Like, no, the hell we ain't. When you start off your sentence, a lot of you have been wondering where I've been. You basically are throwing out your self-importance to the world. You're making yourself seem important. That's overt. Overt, you're arrogant to a point, and you got a lot of self-importance. Then there's covert. A covert narcissist is defensive, they're fragile, they're sensitive to criticism. Probably it's definitely Randy, right? I'm not going to tell you just yet. They get defensive if you question them. They're sensitive to criticism. That's a covert narcissist. And like I said earlier, we all could have a little bit of it in us. The antagonistic narcissist belittles and exploits others for personal gain or causes. A communal narcissist he has an inflated self-view, and he's attached to being perceived in a likable manner. And then you got malignant. A malignant narcissist is one who aggressively and maliciously he's indifferent to morality. Okay, so you guys, who do you think? Other people can put it. Who do you think I was asking him about? Whose videos did I send to this guy? That guy said he's overt, he's a little covert, he's definitely antagonistic, and he's definitely communal. And so I learned all these yesterday from this guy. I feel called out, Farmer. No, not you. I can think of some Lanier guides right off the bat. Boom. And I can think of some that are not guides, but they're still in that group. They're still in that group. They don't like me anyway, so I don't give a shit. But think about that. Arrogant. I'm so important. Defensive. Hey, don't insult me, you guys. Geiger, Randy, definitely. Antagonistic, belittles and exploits others for personal gain, inflated self-view, and attached to perceived likability. Yeah, they were. I sent him 4 Randy Blockett videos. The reason I sent him those, I sent him 3 of his intuitive angling and 1 of his whatever it is, how to do the baits or whatever the hell that channel's called. He asked me, oh yeah, one of the questions he asked me was, Danny, does the intuitive angling side views, are they all a lot more views than the educational ones? And I said, yes. The reason I sent him that was because I've heard him say, not the profile guy, but Mr. B. You can attach that to those of any and every angler. A lot of them you could. That's why I said we all got a little bit of it. But this guy had 4. I keep hearing him say, he said, I'm leading the charge. I am fighting the fight. I am, and it was I am, I am, I am, I am. And I just kind of got thinking, there's not a lot of we. If you watch his videos, there's not a lot of we to it. So I said, it'd be interesting to see this guy's opinion because I promise you guys, this guy, he's as athletic as that hat in front of me. He definitely doesn't fish. In fact, he makes fun of me for fishing. But there's a lot of that out there. And so I was like really interested in that. You could take a profiler and just send him four videos and he could come back with, oh, he's a class A narcissist and all this stuff. And I was like, so I'm going to send him some more of other guys and just get his opinion. And a couple of the guys I'm going to send they're more of the commentator types. And then I'm going to send them a couple of anglers, a couple of different anglers. And we'll see that. But think about that too when you're watching these videos. Now I've told you that, an overt narcissist is arrogant, believes a lot of himself, makes himself important. Narcissists run together often. Yeah, my wife called me a narcissist one time. I didn't know what the hell it meant. I'm like, I think I know it's bad, but I don't even know what narcissism is. Is he covert? Does he get hurt, feelings hurt? Does he belittle and exploit others for personal gain? I don't know. You guys tell me. It's interesting to talk about it that way, just to kind of sit back and see that. But now, every time I watch a YouTube video on iCast, I look to see if the person fussing. I asked that guy too in the comment section. Finally, he was just, the public should be there. He was just going on and on and on. And I finally said, have you ever attended iCast? Straight up. Have you ever attended iCast? And his answer was no. No, he has never attended iCast. But man, he knows so much about what's wrong with iCast, so much about what's going on, so much about this and that it was just like, why are you even making a comment? I don't tell Josh how to film stuff. I'm not an expert. I wouldn't tell Cletus. Cerebral. Sorry, but NPFL is a breeding ground for narcissism. Brad Fuller out there threatening people with physical violence, talking about choking them. Luke Duncan doing softball interviews with cheaters. Could be CT. That's what I said. I just picked out one guy. But I mean, listen, if I'm being honest, CT, I've threatened to kick the shit out of a lot of guys before. I may have choked 1 or 2, and maybe I am a narcissist. I don't know, man. But I get it. And maybe it's because Maybe it's oh, that was another question he asked me. And I know CT, you made Randy's one of his best channels. So congrats on that, but that's a dubious honor to me. Um, but could it be that it's competition driven and that's the way we men are? I don't know. Um, but yeah, hey, listen, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But and I guarantee maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should send some of them guys the videos, just let them kind of profile them. It would be really, really cool to get his opinion on it. Uh, honestly, narcissist is a clinical diagnosis. I think now it's just a buzzword on the internet, discovered and now used for everything, especially on TikTok. Yeah, but this guy's a profiler, so I mean, he clinically knows. He clinically knows. Hello, Danny Pruitt. Looking forward to the Bassmaster Classic 2026. A lot of bass boats and bass. Yeah, and it's close. I go to Classic. Agree with you on everything you just said, Jeremiah. I think you know what? All fishermen are narcissists. That's why I said it. Did you not hear me say that we all probably have a little bit of this in us? We probably all do. Which okay, let me ask you this question. What would you be? You heard my list. What kind of narcissist would you guys be? Overt, covert, antagonistic, communal, or malignant? What would you be? If I had to pick mine, I would say I'd been covert. There used to be a time of day that I would feel like I'd get really pissed off if you insulted me. So I would say I would be a covert. Okay, Farmer said covert. I think that would be a covert narcissist back in the day. Right now, I know I just suck at everything. Uh, I suck at everything. So there you go. So I mean, I I don't have a problem with. I get belittled all the time. Elitism and narcissism are about the same to me. Geiger's got to go back to work. Geiger, come tonight at 8. Come tonight at 8 and join us tonight. It's interesting. It's interesting. What would you be? I definitely covert. Um, I don't have nothing to show for anything, so I don't have too much personal gain. I probably used to be arrogant. I could say that. I probably have a little overt in me. Covert, definitely. Um, communal. Back when I was a football coach, coaching travel ball and all that, I might have a little communal in it too. See. Just because I got hit Randy up with 4 out of 5, I just self-diagnosed myself with 3 out of 5. I'm the best fisherman I've ever met, Steve Guthrie. No doubt. Me too. Me too. But it is interesting. And you know what? It could be a male driven thing. My wife's called me a narcissist so many times, but I really am not lying, guys. Now, not so much lately, because my kids always say there's pre Jesus Danny or post Jesus Danny. There's also we face Danny, because when they had a we, I used to be such a butthole that my little avatar had a frowny face. And anytime I get mad now, my eyebrows go down and I go, there's your we face. There's your we face. So I don't think about that. Now, again, let's go out and use drip in a comment today. Try that. Go out to a young kid and say that. Go out to a kid that's 18 years old and say, man, you be dripping, or however dripping or whatever that is. Atlanta Outdoors said he's a covert one. We all got it. We all got it. We all got it. It's funny. Anyway, so tonight at 8, again, I'm going to have Tony and Tim and Alex here. Cletus is going to come too. Um, and if we can rig it up somehow, we might try to rig it up where he can get on too. But definitely, we're going to talk about ICAST, the best we saw, the worst we saw, the things that happened behind the scenes, which are going to be pretty fun to talk about. I know our wives will be watching to hear what we actually say. Talk about the people we met, and talk about. I mean, we're going to talk about stuff we didn't like as well. So, Cam's all of the above. Farmer says, "How about no? Come on, Farmer Doc. Any organization that makes you sell your integrity and soul to be a part of isn't worth the cost. Paying people off to hide crimes, full of employees who have been fired by every other organization." Let me read that again. Any organization that makes you sell your integrity and soul to be a part of isn't worth the cost. Paying people off to hide crimes, full of employees who have been fired by every other organization. Hey, I'm telling you though, There's a lot of organizations out there like that. There is a lot of organizations like that. You almost could do that with any football team, any basketball team. I get it. I get where you're coming. I get CT where you're coming from with it. 100%, dude. Get it. Got to figure it out. That's why I said yes. It's all of them at some point. Uh, Clint can sit in my lap tonight. Cletus can sit in your lap. We might do that. That might be fun to watch. But anyway, so tonight that's what we're going to do. We're going to sit there and talk about that, and you know, we'll see. We'll see where the stories go. I'm really kind of thinking, hurt people hurt people. That's true, Brad. That's true. Hurt people hurt people. You know what? There's a TikTok going around now, and it's some radio DJ, and this woman calls in and she's complaining that her husband, somebody bring them a shad or herring. If somebody will bring me a shad, I'll eat it right here on the camera. I'll bite that joker just like I tell everybody. I'm just not gonna go buy one. But if somebody brings one, we'll eat it tonight. I'll make Tony and Tim do it too. But there was some radio disc jockey had a woman, it's a talk show or something like that, and she called up and you were talking about hurting people, and she was fussing about how her husband of 10 years wasn't paying child support. And that DJ turned it on that woman so bad about, you say hurt people hurt people. Didn't you say you'd eat that shad 2 weeks ago? Aaron Parker, I will when somebody brings it. Don't choke on a rib bone. The offer is still there. Whoever brings a shad during one of the live wells, I will eat the thing. Trust me. But back to that DJ, man, it was kind of like the hurt people hurt people. It's also like stupid people. Like if you hire stupid people and then they do something stupid, or you marry a stupid person and they do something stupid, you're really at fault. You're really at fault. So it's like this woman was talking about her husband beat her and all this, but he goes, you're mad that a guy you married who was an arrogant ass beat you and all that, and now you're shocked he's not paying child support. And he turned it on her. And I think, and what I'm saying that in that you kind of with the hurt people and all that, like, some people are what they are. Maybe some organizations are what they are. I don't know. I can tell you this. I think it started because somebody said it tastes like garlic. Yeah. I don't think it's fair to say all fishermen are narcissists. I fish to escape the world and my problems. I make lures so other people can do the same. I think we're talking about professional, like tournament wise. So yeah, definitely not talking about all anglers. We're talking about guys that fish tournaments. So yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Cerebral tackle at trophies or trees fishing. 100%. And it's like it's. I don't know. I've done so many bad things in my life. I've got a past and all that. That if probably a lot of people knew about my past, they wouldn't hang out with me. They probably would. So yeah, I tend to give the benefit of the doubt with a lot of it, or not the benefit. I tend to I'm willing to overlook some things, right or wrong. I'm willing to overlook some things because I know a lot of people in my life overlook some of the stuff I've done. Organizational wise, I don't know. That's a little bit different. I'm trying to think how I'd still hang out with you, Danny. Well, some of the stuff I've done for me, but so I'm real quick. Now, other than Randy, dude, just my God, what's he gonna do, CT, if they ban live scope? What's his next call is gonna be? And I'm thinking business wise. I'm just thinking business wise. But I realize you've got a lot of kind of, I don't want to say hurt feelings. There's a lot going on, and you've uncovered a bunch of stuff. I get it. I get it. I get it. 100%. So there is a different point of view. My point of view is this. And I tell you what, if Randy Blocker walked through the door, I'd still shake his hand and I'd sit here and I'd talk to him just like I would anybody else. But Farmer and them all can tell you that I would say, Randy, you're full of shit. But I would drink a beer with him, break bread with him, all this. Because I feel like I can do that with people I don't really like. And maybe I come to like them. It's always possible. But I kind of view the world as like, Man, sometimes you just gotta overlook some stuff. Sometimes. Now if it continues and continues and continues, yeah, I get it. I get it. But I just, there's some guys watching, and I'm not gonna call them out in this chat, that if you knew what they did, because I know what they've done, they've come to the store and talked, you guys, a lot of you guys would be so judgmental and wouldn't talk to them at all. And they'd never get the benefit of the doubt. That's kind of thing I view, like that. Take Fuller. Yeah, okay, he got pissed off. Yeah, he did something really stupid. It was dumb. It was dumb. But I'd laugh him out the door, Jimmy. It wasn't his bright shining moment. It wasn't a shining moment. But I cannot sit here and say that. God, I ain't done that. I mean, back in my 20s and 30s, I probably did it every other week. And so I kind of can like, yeah, it was stupid. Everything I thought I did was stupid. But I think you got to give a little grace, a little bit, just some grace. Um, and maybe not a lot of people view it the way I view it, but I just think that. Danny, you know that I've absolutely drugged Randy in some videos. He was trying to make amends. It took a lot of balls to do that. I give him credit where credit's due. CT, hey, 100%, buddy. Listen, I watch your stuff. I don't agree with everything you say, but I think you do a good job. And you know what I've told everybody here? This is the honest to God's truth. So we will honest to God's truth on my kid's head. Honest to God's truth. I said, I'm gonna make sure I'm friends with CT. And I'm gonna stay on CT's good side. Because that son of a bitch knows how to daggone go through and find your background, find everything about you. He's gonna find it out because he researches his stuff. I have said that. I've said that. I said, I will not cross him. Not gonna do it. But I get what you're saying. And I know you drug him in some videos. And kudos on him to make amends. That's why I said if you walk through the door, you know, let's see, but Danny, he has threatened people since being full. Look at Duncan's podcast. Hey, I know. I'm not saying it's right, dude. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. But he ain't threatened me. So, I had to kind of say, okay, look at the situation. And I would look at Brad and say, because I tell you what Fuller did tell me on the last phone conversation I had. He said, if I saw him doing something that I thought was stupid, please call him and tell him. I ain't had to because other people had. I ain't had to. Um, that's where having an open mind comes in. Yeah, he might be an idiot, but just agree and move on. No one is perfect. Some people play a character just to keep. They do. Now, Tom says Randy wears girl shorts to fish. Now, Tom, shit. So's Walters. But I get what you're saying, CT. There's a few of the people that you've had run-ins with that I agree with you 100%. 100%. And I sit back and I watch your stuff and I'm like, they're about to get roasted. It's coming. Um, damn, I'll say this: the Duncan Tater Hog podcast last night was good. I didn't watch it. No one is perfect. Some people try to stay in their role to feed the algorithm. I think that's true too. Hey, listen, CT, I'm not lying, dude. I don't need you checking in on me. I don't need nobody knowing my shit out there. So anyway, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Uh, and I'll say this about Randy. If you could take away his continual, everyday complaining about forward facing sonar, he might just be one of the nicest guys out there. But it's just like a nagging wife. That's the way I see it. Nag, 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 nag. Watch a video on how he throws a bait. Absolutely fine. Hey, I can watch it. But damn, find something else to fuss about. Just for a week. He needs a sabbatical. He needs a forward facing sonar sabbatical. If that's the right term for it. He does. He does. It'll be here when he gets back. It'll be here when he gets back. So anyway, guys, hey, listen, it's been fun. Thanks for the jig orders. The other day they're chewing on them right now. You're welcome. I still got to make you those cheat codes. Um, It's been fun. I love spending lunch with you guys. I like doing this every day. I'm getting to where I'm looking forward to it every day. Just come here and shoot the bull. It's fun. Got to figure out why I keep making TikTok mad. So hopefully Josh can appeal that and get me out of TikTok jail again. Maybe hopefully before tonight's show. So anyway, with that, guys, you guys go back to work and enjoy the rest of your day. If you got nothing to do tonight, join us at 8 o'clock on the live well. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about ICAST and kind of present some of the other things that a lot of people that goes on. A lot of people don't get to see. Um, for those of you that saw the Fish North Georgia group page, you saw the picture of me and Seth Fighter. There's a story behind this. I've been telling guys that this is a lot of good stuff. Cerebral, once I heal up, there's an epic. Cerebral, I better not be in it. That's all I got to say, dude. I'll find you. What is it? What is that movie? I will find you. And I don't want to say kill or nothing like that. I might get kicked off this. Tom Erico, I have a few for you. Hey, we can just all share stories tonight. All I'm going to say is thank God there wasn't pictures and camera phones back in the day. I'd been in jail for the school bus alone. It was school bus alone. The game chicken would have got me put in jail. Once I heal up, there's an epic proctology exam coming for several people. Stay tuned. Well, I hope you heal up, dude. I hope you heal up. I know you've been going through a lot of stuff lately. Trophies of Trees Fixers, thank you for all you do. No, dude, thank you guys for joining. Listen, if I got on here and talk by myself, ain't nobody watching. It's because I get to interact with you guys that makes all this pretty cool. So anyway, come tonight, live well, 8 o'clock. You guys better be there. If the Braves are on, just put the Braves on, turn the volume down, listen to us, and watch the ball game. But I enjoy talking with you guys. We will see you tonight. If I don't see you tonight, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, knuckleheads. Whoever says that, I know somebody says that. So y'all be good. I don't have to cut TikTok off because they've already cut me off. So I'm going to cut you guys off, and I'll see all you guys later. Have a good one.